Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. As always, today we've got a hardware wallet focused show. Specifically, we're talking about Keystone. You probably heard of Keystone if you've watched my Crypto Over Coffee show ever on the weekends. Do give away a Keystone Pro wallet there every once in a while on that show. And I've got my friend Li Xin here to talk all about Keystone, the future of the wallet project, the Metamask announcements that have just come out, and a bunch more. So Li Xin, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you so much for having me, Hashoshi.
Yeah, definitely. If you could, I would love for you to give folks sort of a brief introduction to yourself, sort of the general history of Keystone, where the project came from.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi everyone, my name is Li Xin. I'm the CEO of Keystone Hardware Wallet. So you can see the wallet here. This is our hardware wallet. I've been starting buying Bitcoin back in 2013. And I started to make hardware wallet in late 2017. And we launched our first hardware wallet in 2018. And at that time, I knew Hashoshi, and I sent product to him. And we also collected tons of suggestions from Hashoshi to polish the product. And previously, we were mostly working on Bitcoin security for over 3 years. And we did some really cool stuff. We brought QR signing into Bitcoin community. And we also co-authored one of the BIPs, which is BIP 129 for Bitcoin multisig. And also we were considered as the best hardware wallet for Bitcoin multisig in the Bitcoin community, especially among the Bitcoin maximalists. Mm-hmm. And in the middle of last year, we started to work for Web3 security. We did some really cool integrations. For example, we're the first hardware wallet integrated ENS. We also supported the signing directly with some DeFi projects like Sushi. And at the end of last year, which is around Christmas, we successfully launched our integration with Metamask extension. So you can use our hardware wallet, and you can see a camera here. You can use our hardware wallet through QR code with Metamask extension. And at that time, we also raised an EIP together with Metamask team, because if you have seen Hashoshi show you the induction, we use the QR code to interact with Keystone and Metamask. And we raised that EIP to validate the QR code data transmission protocol between hardware wallet and the software wallet. Luckily, Metamask Mobile just integrated this EIP, so Keystone just became the very first hardware wallet integrated with Metamask Mobile. So now Keystone is cross-platform compatible with Metamask, and we're also exploring other opportunities to get integrated with other software wallets. Yes.
That's huge stuff. I mean, that's the full history right there, right? Back in the very first days all the way to now. And I think for someone that's watching, right, the differentiator for the Keystone wallets, in my opinion, is that QR code mechanism for communication between a mobile device that has internet connectivity and the private cold storage signing device, which is the Keystone itself. And that QR code mechanism eliminates some of the inputs and outputs. There's no USB port. There's not Bluetooth connectivity, and all those things that people raise flags about in hardware wallet analysis in terms of potential exploit. When you went about designing these wallets, were you thinking in the future, all we need to do is to get people to adopt this methodology, and then the rest will kind of fall into place?
Yeah, of course. Maybe we can go back a little bit to talk about where this design come from. So
yeah, sure.
Actually, at that time when we were starting to build the hardware wallet, I interviewed a lot of Ledger users. So one of the very key questions I asked them is that, what's the most anxious time when you are using your Ledger? So the answer was pretty aligned. The first is the moment when they're trying to type in their recovery phrase. That's one of the most anxious time. The second is every time they plug their ledger into their laptop through USB. They're very anxious about that. So then we have the idea about QR code. So with the QR code, first, you don't need to connect your device to any device. You just scan that QR code. And something even cooler is that the QR code is totally open source, and the QR code is verifiable by third-party tools. So that with QR code, you know exactly what's getting into your device and what's getting out of a device. So no malicious code is getting into the device, no private keys are getting out of the device. So that's something we want to achieve. And also the QR code is cross-platform compatible. If you have a camera or you're using a laptop, you can use your Keystone with your software wallet on your laptop. Or if you have your software on your mobile phone, you want to use that on the go, you can also use Keystone, use the QR code method to do all the data transmission between software wallet and hardware wallet. And another side effect comes from the QR code is that we have a 4-inch touchscreen for the hardware wallet. And why we designed this, so actually we can have a smaller screen for the QR code display and all the interactions, but we did it with a 4-inch touchscreen because we feel that user experience is extremely important for security, because right now human error is still the biggest reason for crypto loss. Yep. If a hardware wallet is hard to use, it's more likely people will make some mistakes on the device. For example, right now, the blockchain interactions are becoming really, really complicated, so that you need to verify what you are signing on the device carefully. If it's a small screen, sometimes it doesn't display all the information you are signing. Sometimes it just do blind signing, which is really, really dangerous really, really risky for the user. And also with the big touchscreen, we can have a very close user interaction compared to your mobile phone, so that it's very easy for some user who have used the software wallets before to migrate from their software wallet to a hardware wallet like Keystone. So these are some of the very basic design ideas we came from our interviews with some ledger users. And also you can see with the big touchscreen, we can also show your NFT on the device, which makes Keystone the very first hardware wallet can show your NFT. So we believe that in the future that with blockchain becoming more and more complicated, we need a much more advanced and user-friendly hardware wallet for the crypto people.
Yeah, and I mean, anecdotally, because I use Keystone wallets fairly often, to be honest, and the key for me is the sort of smartphone-like user experience, because, the Ledger, the Trezor, I mean, great wallets in their own way. I think the biggest miss on those is that they are so hard to use for me, because they're the two buttons where you're really just trying super hard. Punching in your seed phrase to recover is so painful. And, with this, it feels like any other device that you might use on a day-to-day basis, which is an underrated thing. And with full Metamask compatibility on the browser extension and on mobile, there's really not much reason not to use something like this at this point.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I have some friends who are very close to me. They told me that they bought Ledger and they felt that it's so hard. It was so hard to use, so that they just put Ledger in their safe box and never touch it again. So that's why we really need a user-friendly hardware wallet if we wanted to expand the crypto user to the next 100 million user or to the next billion user. Yes.
Segment is brought to you by Shiryo, a NFT trading card game built on the Ethereum and Polygon networks. Shiryo is a strategy-focused, turn-based card game centered around the story of the lands of Idrea, a fictional world filled with mythical creatures depicted and playable in the form of NFT trading cards at launch later this year. Within that game, players will utilize their packs of NFT trading cards to duel one another, both casually and in a wager-oriented tournament mode, to earn the native Shiryo token. If you want to learn more about the project, check out the link in the description below. And of course, this is not a call to action to buy tokens of any kind, including NFTs. So, I mean, on that mission, right, and looking towards that future, obviously you've accomplished quite a bit, right? You've got a lot of work really closely with the Bitcoin community first, and then also with the Ethereum community, and with MetaMask, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to completely crush blind signing, which I'm all for, because too many people are signing blind on all sorts of wallets. Yes. What's next for you? Like, where is your vision for Keystone going forward here now in the rest of the year and onwards?
Okay. For the next several months, we are working on other main chain support. For example, right now, we're working on Solana support. We're integrating with one of the top software wallets in Solana community, which is Solflare. And also we are exploring support for other community like Cardano and also Rwave. We love these chains, both of them very much. So we're also looking into that. And also, we are also exploring some other stuff. For example, I'm a Bored Ape holder, so I'm in the Bored Ape community. I strongly feel that, so in the Bored Ape community, if you're in the group chat with them, you can tell that almost every one of them, they have hardware wallet. But like 10% to 50%, 15% of the daily conversation were for security. So they were heavily talking about someone's ape got stolen and how to prevent that, how to protect their own apes, how to protect their recovery phrase, this kind of thing. So we strongly feel that hardware wallet is not enough for, if you wanted to deliver a 360 protection for the user, hardware wallet is definitely not enough. So right now we're also exploring some opportunities with the top NFT projects to see if we can help them to prevent any phishing sites, or help them to better educate their user about how to protect the recovery phrase, how to use hardware wallet, and how to avoid blind signing, this kind of stuff. So we feel that we will very strictly focus on security, and right now we strongly feel that hardware wallet is definitely not enough for, especially for community like Web3. A lot of people getting into the community through the NFT, and they have almost zero knowledge about security and zero sense about. Just several weeks ago, someone asked me that her recovery phrase was stolen. And she told me that I had my password on my Metamask. The hacker doesn't have my password. How can he steal my digital assets? So that's the question she asked me. I strongly feel that we not only need to build the best hardware wallet, we also need to get more engaged with the community for education and for alerting them some issues like phishing sites. So I think that's the thing we will strive for the next 6 to 12 months. And the next thing, we're also getting more into security. We're also collaborating with some security companies as well as security DAOs to see how we can contribute to the community deeper and deeper. Yeah, that's the thing on the plate right now.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that makes a big difference to have education, right? Because there are a lot of people that don't know.
Yeah.
Hey,
which you are doing great for education.
I try. Yeah. I mean, things like blind signing, but also things as simple as writing your 24 words or your 12 words or your 15 words, depending on your standard. People are writing those in their iOS notepad, and it's getting propagated up to the cloud in plain text. you know,
or taking pictures,
or taking
put it
pictures,
on some
you know,
like random iCloud or random cloud service.
Yeah. So it's just those are things that a hardware wallet can't protect you from, and especially on the signing front. That's the one where I see a lot of people, they get lulled into a false sense of security because they have a hardware wallet. They're like, "Hey, I'm safe here." But if you sign something with your hardware wallet, whatever happens next, you've authorized officially. And so I think that that's something that more people need to think about, and a better user experience, you know, with a bigger screen to show you this is what you're signing is probably the biggest feature, right? The biggest feature of the Keystone that that people would use daily.
Yeah. I also, a lot of friends around me, they have perfect sense about reading a physical document before they sign the document. But when it comes to crypto, they just sign whatever the Metamask or the ledger asks them to sign.
Yeah.
And this is even worse I think in Ethereum it's better, but if it goes to Solana, right now, if you are just simply sending your Sol coin to someone else, just sending ledger is still asking you to blind sign the transaction, which is kind of unacceptable from our perspective.
Yeah, I think blind signing has been accepted in the process of getting support out there quicker for a lot of different wallets, but I think those times are coming to an end, and people should be demanding that they have very clear signature verification methodologies on screen, on the device, not on the app, because the app can lie. The app can lie to you. You want to know what you're actually signing on the device. But I also, I mean, speaking of that, right, you know, verification and the whole ethos of trust but verify. I know we talked last time we spoke, maybe on the channel was like a year ago, give or take. And we had talked about sort of like the practical open sourcing of as much stuff as possible related to the product. You know, where is that at? How are you feeling about that today? And just a quick update there as well. I know people are always interested.
Yeah, actually, for that part, we're trying to first do that for Bitcoin. So right now we're working, because Bitcoin community has been asking us for a long time that they need a dedicated Bitcoin hardware wallet from us. Previously for Keystone, we just allow the user to upgrade the product into a Bitcoin only firmware, but Bitcoin community has been asking us for a Bitcoin dedicated device for a long time. So right now we just started to work on that Bitcoin dedicated device. And for that device, we will remove the current closed source part and try to make the product as open as possible, just as open as Trezor. The open source level is just like Trezor. And then the next step is we're going to use that hardware to implement the multi-coin firmware into that hardware, so that the Ethereum people, Solana guys, and also for other Web3 community and other coins like Cardano community can enjoy a open source hardware wallet, just the same open source level, just like Trezor, but we will also add secure element into that.
Okay, got it. So you know, sort of progressively starting with the Bitcoin focused hardware and software combination, moving into the other avenues, the other wallet options that are going to be there.
Hardware is not easy. We just achieve that step by step. It's not something you can build in one day.
Yeah, absolutely. One day you're closed source, the next you're fully open, eh? Not easy.
Not easy.
Yeah. Yes. No, that makes perfect sense. So folks, if you're watching this, right, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I have a wallet I'm not totally happy with, or I need a wallet. If you don't have a wallet and you have crypto, you should have one. Take a look at Keystone, because I think that you get that's sort of the smartphone feel. You have compatibility with Metamask. So if you're deep into the EVM ecosystem, that's a no-brainer. And beyond that too, if you're into Bitcoin as well, lots of really cool features available to you there. I'll leave links in the description below to the main models for the Keystone. And of course, I'll also leave a link to Lishin's social media profiles as well. So if you have questions, he's always good about answering questions and kind of chatting back and forth. Most of all, Lishin, thanks for coming, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, always happy to have you on the show. Thanks so much to everyone who's watched. If you have some time to stick around, I've got some more hardware wallet related videos here on the screen somewhere. Really appreciate it. And until next time, cheers.